Warning: the following podcast, which contains strong language and mature content, is unsuitable for children or for the faint of heart. The subject matter discussed will be frightening and graphic in nature. Listener discretion is advised.
When you wanna hear about the paranormal, you get the Spooked Girls. True crime that makes you hypothermal. With the three Spooked Girls, stabby snippets will give you dreams. Tara and Jessica will make you along with the Spooked Girls. Bring on the slaughter, we on that haunted ground. Spooked Girls. The three Spooked Girls.
Hey there, Spooksters, and welcome back to another episode here on Three Spooked Girls. My name is Jessica, and as always, I'm joined by my favorite ghoul friend, Tara.
Hey, Spooksters.
This week, we're going to be discussing the legend of the Devil's Footprints. But before we do that and get into this kind of like spooky season's first lore, because we're going to be doing a little bit more of that this season. If you want to hang out with us on social media, you can do so by heading over to Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. That's where we put out all the information. And we do have an amazing Facebook group. It is Three Spook Girls Official. Obviously, it's on the Facebook. It's just a little slice of heaven on the internet where you can just kind of like interact with people who are like-minded and want to talk about spooky and true crime things without having to deal with other crap, because we have very, very, very strict rules about like how we interact with one another. And I'm in other Facebook groups where people are not so nice. And I was like, thank God for our Facebook group, because that shit doesn't fly. And I love our little slice of the internet where it's just us and we can be together. So if you want to join, that's Three Spook Girls Official. We are in the midst of Secret Satan, meaning that gifts are coming in and out. We appreciate all of those of you who are participating, and we look forward to seeing everything that everyone gets. And we are really excited to see all of that.
Yeah.
If you are a bibliophile, or like if you like books like Tara and I, we have a book club. It's called the Spookster Literary Society. You can join. It's totally free. Just come hang out with us one Sunday a month. In September, we did a little different where we did a thread instead of an actual meeting, because we know that, I mean, really it's me. I got busy. I decided in like 1 month that I was moving. This is how insane I am, guys. I decided within 1 month I was moving. I also have a work event. So yeah, to say that I'm stressed out, like right now my face has a couple of star pimple patches because I am very stressed, but it's fine. And I'm going to give a life update since we're talking about this right now, because I feel like Tara has talked about this so much on the pod over the last few years. I know you haven't talked about it, but recently, the end of August, beginning of September, I took a trip to Oklahoma to go to a family reunion. And since my girl lives there, I was like, we're hanging out for 48 hours. Like, it was literally the fastest and like the shortest hangout we've had in like years.
Ever.
Yeah, ever.
Besides when we live by each other.
Right. Like
forever ago.
Right. For like, I don't know. She moved away in 2009. So since then, this was the shortest amount of time we've spent together. But it was amazing and it was great. But one of the things we did is I made her get Sonic with me, because the Sonic in Sacramento was too far for me to go. So we got Sonic and we came home and she's like, I'm going to pick the TV show. So she puts it on, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And for those of you who've been following the pod for so long, Tara has been like, the only thing I want in life is Jessica to fall in love with the Real Housewives franchise so we can talk about it.
Yeah.
And your girl was very smart. She was like, I got one chance for this. I'm going to put on the gin shot rest episodes. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? And I'm hooked. I started a watch through. I'm on season 3 already. It's been pretty great. I've just been really, really excited about it. And it wasn't even like I got home from Oklahoma and was like immediately started watching. It had been a couple weeks. So it's only been about a week and I've watched 2 seasons. And I'm a convert to the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I don't know that I'll ever watch any other reality reality show or another franchise. I cannot make those promises. I know I said some really strong words about that I would never be a reality TV show fan, but I think it's specifically these women.
Yeah.
Because I have fallen in love with Heather Gay, like just completely. I am like, I need to be best friends with her. Tara and I need to be best friends with her and Whitney. We need to be part of the Bad Weather Club. I was hooked. So I just want to let you all know that
Yay!
Tara won. She was very clever the way she did it.
I picked the ones with true crime in it.
Right? She's like, ooh, she got me real. Because I was like Googling Jen Shaw and I was like, what is happening? And all this stuff. And obviously it's interesting now knowing that she's in prison and watching her on the show. Like, someone give her an Oscar because like Chef's Kiss, that shit was impressive. So I was really, really excited about it. But before we dive into the episode, if you want to help support the show, you can do so by heading over to patreon.com/3spookedgirls or go to the link tree. Everything is in the link tree, guys. Tara has created this beautiful little map for you to all of the places in our universe. So you can just click and go there. For little as $1, you get one bonus episode each month. Sometimes you get more. It depends on, what we do. But that's where we've done some bonus series. We recapped the Gypsy Rose, and I am fucking devastated that there isn't a season 3.
I know.
Because I was like, the fuck, this was so good. It was the one reality show that I was like really, really hooked on. But now that it went away, I guess I had to fill it with something. And Salt Lake City kind of won out. So definitely check out our Patreon. If you have already listened to everything here on our feed, you've listened to the social seance, you're all caught up everywhere and you're like, I want more. We have so much content on our Patreon. It is incredible, like how much shit's over there. It's been 6 years of us. And then we've talked about it like during COVID. We did so much because we were bored in the house. We were in the house bored. Like that's literally what it was. And we were like,
literally,
what are we doing? And then the pandemic kind of like people started going outside and we were like, oh my God. So it was like probably a good year or so of just like a lot of content. So if you would like to see that, go check it out because it's pretty great. And we're pretty proud of the work we do over there. And Tara does a really good job of finding like spooky things for me to react to. And I'm in the middle of a series that is real or not real state laws. So if you want to know what's law in your state that I found interesting that is real or not real, you should check it out.
Tune in.
Yeah. One just dropped 2 days ago. So definitely check it out. But with that, we're going to go ahead and dive right into this episode. We are going to be talking about the Devil's Footprints. And because this myth is so great, in my opinion, I had to compose a poem because I was like, this story seems very... when you're like reading something and you're like, yeah, this is definitely fairy tale status.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Love.
So here is my poem to the Devil's Footprints. A soft morning, breaking the night's snowy dream, the world yawned wide, kissed by pale winter's gleam. The morrow brought whispers, a chill in the air, cloven footprints, stamped everywhere. Not fox nor rabbit nor man on the roam. These prints march brazen, straight over your home. Up chimneys, down rooftops, through hedgerows and wall. The devil in the moonlight had paid them a call. The villagers prayed, "Oh Lord, keep us tight." Meanwhile, old Lucifer cackled, "Cute, good night."
Stop. I love it. Sorry.
So next time the snow lays its shroud on the land, watch where it glitters, where footprints expand. For some say he wanders when winter's bone deep, a goat-footed shadow that stalks you while you sleep.
I'm obsessed and I love this. Okay, I feel like you need to whoever wants to draw, somebody needs to draw some illustrations for this and we need to make a little baby booklet of it or something. I love that.
I will be taking submissions for that if you would like. But I loved this. Like, Tara was like, here's some ideas for spooky season. And she said the Devil's Footprints. And I was like, I want that one. It sounds like fun. And I thought it was going to be something completely different, but I was super pleased with what I found.
Yay.
On a snowy morning, obviously it had to be a snowy morning because...
Dramatics.
Well, that, and it's like the footprints were in the snow.
Yeah.
February 8th. 1855, the residents of Devon, particularly it's a town in England, they woke up with strange footprints all up in the snow. What literally shocked them, and they were definitely shook, was the shape and also how far they went. They were cloven like a hoof, like in the poem it talks about it being a goat. So yeah, so it was cloven, but they were 4 inches long and 3 inches wide.
Oh. Big.
So he a big boy. Yeah.
Can't do that song because of copyright, but just sing it in your head, guys.
Yeah, that's all I did. Then here's the fucking just like, okay, before I do the big, like, what the fuck, these were like in a single line. So basically it looked like one person or one creature was walking. It didn't look like there were a bunch of them. It didn't look like there was like a goat being led by a person. It didn't look like a goat. There would be like evidence of like 4 prints. It was definitely like 2 hooven prints walking, and the footprints stretched over 100 miles.
Wow.
Right? They went across rooftops, rivers, even high walls, and hedgerows. And if you don't know what hedgerows are, it's those things when you're driving down the freeway and there's just like big bushes. It's a hedgerow.
So you're telling me the devil is an overachiever with their hot girl walk. Got you.
Yes. They were like, we're going on a hot girl walk to put on the podcast, just jammed out. Just
bebopping along.
right? Just like, I got this. Now, obviously, when this happened, the people of Devon were like, what the fuck is going on? Because this isn't like they went out in front of like a church or a graveyard or somebody's house and there was just this set of prints and they were like, oh, dear Lord. No, this is 100 miles. I would like people to think about what 100 miles is. It's really far away. I was baffled.
Yeah.
So obviously the villagers immediately panicked. It started in Devon, but it went to Topsham, Dawlish, and Exmouth. I don't know how to say that correctly. I'm sorry, people of England. My bad. They were obviously like, oh my God, the fucking devil came on February 8th, like last night, just like walked around, showed up. Here's his footprints. And a lot of people were afraid to leave their homes. Their moms were like, I'm not letting my fucking kids go out and play because like, fuck that shit.
Sure.
Devil's out taking a lap. Like, let's not do that. The churches were like, I'm going to monopolize on this. And they opened their doors and they were like, come here for safety.
As they do.
Right? It is one of the kind of things where like churches are like sacred ground. We even see this when we talk about like, this isn't just something that's in like religious realms. This is something that's in like occult realms as well, is that like churches, especially churches that have graveyards attached to them, are considered like sacred ground. And so they opened the door and they checked people for signs of the devil because, you know, they were like, you cannot come in here if you are the devil.
Right.
They were checking because they were like, people need to get right with God. Because this is typically what happens when we see this like, quote, satanic panic. This is not the same satanic panic that we dealt with in the 80s. But when we see this kind of like panic over something demonic, the churches open up their doors and they're like, the reason this is happening is because y'all fucking sinners and you need to get your shit together. You need to get right with God. Come on in. So that's what they did. Also, newspapers were like, ooh, this is such a great story. So they all were writing about it. And it became such a thing of gossip that it made it all the way to London, and it's across the country. So it was like a local thing that people could not shut up about. People printed articles in newspapers, pamphlets were printed, and a lot of it was that this was like, these areas were wicked and that they needed to atone, and that what can we all learn from this? And that is to, you know, get yourself right with God. And so it became this like permanent fixture of folklore, and a folklorist by the name of Sabine Baron Gold documented it to ensure the tale would not slip through the newspapers, but that it would just become permanent folklore canon. So the long-term effects of this is for decades. Obviously, it lived in local memory. Can you imagine, like, as someone who probably lived in those towns, they were like, when is it coming back? What the hell?
Right. That's so random.
The devil decided to take a walk. So it literally became a story to help children behave. They were told, like, you know, the devil fucking walks outside. I bet would put money that some older sibling was like, you better not, or I'll lock you outside and the devil's going to get your ass. Like, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of just, because this particular area of England has some like spookiness around it, it kind of just melded into the local folklore and everything like that, and has just become like synonymous with this area. Some people swear that the prince showed back up later, but it was on a much smaller scale, and it's kind of hard because like people don't always believe that, like the replicas. So basically, the devil's footprints became the boogeyman of the late 1850s in Devon. I could see it.
Oh, for sure.
If I went outside and there was like footprints, devil's footprints, I'd be like, oh shit.
Stay away.
Maybe I was wrong. The fly on the wall I want to be is the people who remember it, but are at like a pub and they're like talking about it. And they're like, no, that's not how it went. There was no prints over there. There's prints over here. No, they started in this town. No, they started here. Oh, remember they went up my chimney. They're like, you didn't even live here then. That's who I would want to be. I'd want to be the person who's like sitting at a pub listening to all these like old dudes talk about like where they were when the footprints happened.
Hell yeah, I would love to hear stories. I mean, obviously can't now, but like, back in the day.
Oh, I'm sure it's been passed down. Like, I'm pretty sure that like if you went to this town, there would be like, my great-great-great-grandpa was, I mean, I don't know why I suddenly made them from the South because they're definitely from England.
In England?
And then I'm like, Jessica, don't do an accent from there because it's terrible. So as part of my favorite part of any kind of myth is what are the conspiracy theories around it? Well, let's get into that. So really, the first conspiracy theory is that it was, in fact, the devil. That the devil himself really picked Devon, England, and was like, let's go for a fucking walk and do what we got to do.
Hot girl walk.
I mean, it literally was. Who knows what he was jamming to? At that point, I don't really know what music was popular, but I was about to be like, his iPod, because they're both old. Get it?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Outdated technology.
I wonder, can the devil time travel? And if the devil can, then yes. He would have the iPod I had, and that was the hot pink Nano. He would have that.
Could you imagine? This is what I'm picturing because of Miley Cyrus's song Flowers, where she's like walking for the majority of it. Could you imagine like the devil out for a hot girl walk in 1855 listening to Flowers by Miley Cyrus?
I love it, and I won't accept anything else now.
Right? Just for like an on loop. You know how like, okay, I do this when I get really sad or like I go through something and I'm like, okay, I really want music kind of soothes the soul. So you like listen to a song on loop. It's like the devil's breakup song.
Oh my God, yes. I love that.
And so he's like, okay. So obviously people thought that. The next one was a private zoo in Sidmouth reported that they had an escaped kangaroo.
A kangaroo? They don't got the same feet. Okay.
I know. And that the theory is it's odd hopping made the single prints, but can they explain miles and miles and across rooftops and things like that? They're unsure, but conspiracy theorists say that the kangaroo was a planted cover story to make people feel better. But I also fucking love that somebody was like, you know what? It was a kangaroo. Back to my pub scenario. Some old man was sitting there 20 years later going, remember the zoo lost a kangaroo. It was a kangaroo. And nobody, like, I bet it took them like 20 years to be like, does anyone know what a kangaroo's foot looks like?
Right.
Because it's not like they could grab their phone and be like, Google.
Right.
Another conspiracy theory is that it was a military experiment. Some whisper that it wasn't Satan, but science.
Ooh.
An experimental balloon from a nearby dockyards dragged ropes and chains over the snow, making the marks. It was a failed test flight, and the government did a hush-up about it. And so basically, this is the 1800s equivalent of a weather balloon in Roswell.
Oh, okay.
So there's that. The next one, that makes me giggle, is the otter cult. Yeah, you heard me right. An otter cult.
Otter cult. Can someone make a otter cult picture with a 3 Spook Girl shirt on one of them?
Yes.
Sorry, I got all the ideas today.
Yes, otters. Some suggest that a herd of otters made the prints along the river, but villagers swore that they saw these tracks cutting across gardens, walls, roofs. Cue conspiracies that otters was a polite excuse where something darker was hidden. So it's like, again, it's like a look at the otter, but not the real thing.
Yeah.
But also
the foot thing again.
I don't want it to be a darker thing than an otter. I really want it to be an otter cult.
Oh my God.
I don't know why. I just feel like it would be great.
I feel like they probably, if it was our otter cult, because I'm calling it our otter cult now, I think that they would have stilts that had the hoof footprints because they just wanted to fuck with the people and they thought it was funny.
Yes. Here for that. Oh my God, I am.
And then, so they're up high enough so their tails doesn't drag through the snow.
Oh, that's very true. Or they were like holding their tail.
Well, if the stilt's up like long enough,
Yeah.
But yes, they could have also just held their tail too.
The next one is snow magic or alien intervention. Some people claim that it was just magic that created the footprints in the snow and that it just kind of happened. But others thought it was an alien probing the land and looking for people, skimming the earth, blah, blah, blah. Or that it was some sort of atmospheric anomaly and the snow melted in the shape of these like little neat footprints. That's weird for me. Now, prints were reported by hundreds of people in multiple towns. There was no single explanation that fit. Victorian newspapers definitely sensationalized it and whatnot. So we don't know whether it was the devil, the kangaroos, a government balloon, an otter cult, whatever that is. But the spooky thing it could be is Krampus.
You know, when you were reading your poem, I was like, this is giving Krampus vibes. I love it.
I definitely wrote it in a Krampus vibe like moment.
Love.
Yeah. Some people think that it could just be Krampus, that he was out. Because, you know, Krampus works one day a year. He works December 5th. And just like Santa, he has time off. And maybe Krampus was having a bad day and just needed a walk in the night. And he went for a walk.
Could be.
Maybe he was just out and about and being like, this is fantastic. And it also, he could be like pre-scouting, right? Like maybe this is something that he's just never gotten caught doing before. And I mean, it would make sense. I don't think like in that time period, Krampus was ever connected to it. It's just something I am connecting to it.
I love that.
Now, obviously, the imagery that works with this is the goat feet and, you know, the snow and it's nighttime. It could be terrifying with children in bed sleeping and the fact that a devil or someone like Krampus was out walking around. It does kind of overlap in the time frame because it's February. It's not too far off from December. It doesn't 100% work because it's not December 5th. And the people in the area really wanted it to be a demon, you know? They really wanted that. So before we get into like what this is inspired, kind of my take on the whole Krampus thing, and this is the whole thing at all, is that this was definitely just some dude or dudes. Actually, I've thought about this and I was like, wouldn't it have been funny if like people went outside with these hooves on? Like it was an orchestrated event with all of these people with their hooves. And then they just started walking and like they just kind of connected with one another.
Oh my God, how funny.
Right? You could be like, okay, we're all going to meet here and we're going to stay there until we're done, until like people start seeing it. Because if like, let's say you all ended up going, like you walked single file. I just think that it was a bunch of different people wearing like a goat print.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Now, the Devil's Footprint has inspired things like literature, TV, folklore collections, stuff like that. In the 19th century, pamphlets and sermons were spread about the morals of like being right with God and to stay away from Satan. Person I mentioned earlier, Sabine Baring Gould, is a folklorist and also wrote the hymn Onward Christian Soldiers, which I think is really an interesting moment that it's like you're marching out to war and obviously something was marching through that night. So basically he was blending his writing with eyewitness accounts and he actually was known to create a lot of skepticism. Obviously in the spooky space, it created like myth and lore and whatnot. But it has been in some TV shows and documentaries. It was featured in the paranormal series Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious World in the 1980s, and then in some ghost hunting shows. It popped up in an unsolved mystery.
Ooh.
Right? Gotta love an unsolved mystery.
Right.
And BBC and the History Channel both ran specials mentioning them in the context of either cryptids, which I'm assuming is some sort of goat man thing, or it was the folklore thing, which, you know, both. This hasn't been like too mainstream of a thing. I think we would have done it by now if it was like more of a mainstream. But like, it's just the concept that there was this person or people or Krampus or a kangaroo just out hopping around for hundreds of miles or over 100 miles. And I'm just like, this is insane.
Definitely.
I don't know how long it would take someone to walk 100 miles.
I don't know. That's a lot of dedication.
Right.
It would have to be more. If it was humans, it would have to be more than one.
Right. Because there's no way. I do love that back in the day that even aliens were considered for this. I think of aliens as much more of like a modern cryptid or a modern spooky paranormal event. But the fact that in the 1850s, one of the largest conspiracy theories around this was aliens just brings my heart some warmth. So what do you think the Devil's Footprints are?
Oh my God. I just love the otter theory so much. Also, I did Google it. For a human, it would take at least 24 hours depending on their pace, it could take them up to weeks to do it. So,
Oh.
yeah, I guess technically possible. But I like the otter theory. But to go like, what do I really think? I would lean towards either Krampus or it just being like the devil or demon or whatever. Like that would make the most sense because as much as I love the otter thing, that's obviously not realistic. I mean, none of this is realistic, but
Right.
you know, so those are my votes. What are your votes?
Well, I mean, I also want it to be an otter because I love otters and I think they're adorable. And I just think it would be really funny that otters like decided one day just to fuck with humans and was like, haha, got you. But it also makes me sad that they're not engaging this way anymore. Being like, what the fuck, otters?
Right.
They're like, it didn't go over well in 1855. We've just decided to stop. It was terrible. But I also just think it was like multiple people. I think this was multiple people. I think some like local town kids got together and were like, we're going to do this. We're going to like make these like hoof prints and like walk. It's interesting because they're all uniform. And so it just kind of makes me think that like maybe someone was like the son of a blacksmith and like went out and made a mold and made a bunch of different like prints and like tied them to their shoes. And it would make sense why they were like on some houses, but not on all houses. And it could literally be like, okay, you're going to walk from this person's house to this person's house. And then, yeah, I mean, I just think it would be funny.
Oh my God.
Especially because there would be ways for people to do this. And just, I think it's hilarious.
Oh, same.
I think it's a big prank. I've always been the conspiracy theorist where I'm like, oh, there's a rational thing behind this. But who knows? Maybe Krampus was just having a sad girl night, like sad girl winter.
Sad girl winter.
Yeah. Or the devil was time traveling.
Hot girl walk.
Hot girl. I got a hot girl walk at night to cool off because whatever's going on in my life is terrible and I need to cry and walk. The devil, may I make a suggestion? Maybe next time, just cry in the shower.
True.
That is going to be it for us today in the legend or the myth or whatever you want to call this is the devil's footprints. I really hope you enjoyed it. I was really fascinated when I learned about it. It's just this like little nugget of history that gets kind of swept under the rug. Like no one really talks about it in the paranormal world. I'm like, why aren't we talking about this more?
Right?
Why isn't this like, welcome to being a paranormal fan? Did you hear about the devil's footprints?
Right.
I want to bring awareness to the devil's footprints. It's my PSA for the year. Thank you so much. But with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off and we will see you back on Sunday for another Sunday Scaries. Bye.
Bye.